Go Lions.
All right, so I probably shouldn't be making this video right now because I have a ridiculous amount of stuff to do. And 2 weeks ago, short week because of Christmas. Last week, short week because of New Year's. This week, for me, short week because of my mentor group that I meet with quarterly is in Atlanta. So I leave on Wednesday afternoon to do that. So it is Monday morning, but I wanted to do this to hold myself accountable by telling you guys what I have going on. So let's get into it. I hope maybe this video of what I want to do this year, kind of like goals or at least just some big plans, helps inspire you or somebody to maybe want to go and do more, even if it's just like fill out your calendar. So if you were just to sit around every week and do the same thing over and over and never search for something new. And what I mean by that is like never watching a different show or interacting with a different group of people or taking a different trip to work or listening to new artists or whatever. If you just do the same thing over and over, you're never gonna have any inspiration. Well, if you get inspired by something, that will then motivate you to do something, and the act of the doing something is the action. And at the end of the year, if we look back at our previous year, we're gonna remember and be proud of all the action steps we took that helped us grow or gave us enjoyment or fulfillment or whatever. So I'm constantly getting inspired by different things, and recently, since it is January 6th right now, I've been inspired by all of the different people that I watch and follow and am around and what they did last year and then how they're gonna do better this year. So myself and my wife have put together a handful of things that we want to do this year. We've labeled it out and it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different than everything we've done in the past. So this video is gonna talk about all of my personal goals, systems, whatnot, and what I have going on and how we're gonna crush 2025. This is a really big list of everything that I want to accomplish this year. So I wanna go over everything I wanna prioritize for my fun, my fitness, my family, and my business. This is just gonna be a list. I'm gonna read it because if I explain every single one of these in detail, we're looking at an hour-long video and nobody wants to watch that. All right, so let's get started with how are we gonna do this? So earlier I talked about being inspired, and recently I've been inspired to use this calendar on my wall that we've used every year just for gym and business stuff as a personal calendar for Molly and I, and then layer all of the business stuff on top of it. So what we did last weekend was went through and input everything that we want to do this year, and we're even putting little things on there like if we want to take a Saturday and go do something, but that something's not planned yet because it's January now and maybe we're talking about doing something in August. I don't know. So quick little overview of what's going on here is I've got different color sticky notes, and we labeled all of the holidays in one color, all of Molly's stuff, all of my stuff, all of the birthdays and Charlie things and things that maybe didn't fit in a category, and then adventures and trips. So we went and we laid all that out. Are people coming to town? Are we going somewhere? Do we already have obligations? Or is it just stuff we want to do? Within the trips and adventures, something we put on here is at least once every 8 weeks, we're gonna set aside a day. We just picked a Saturday, but it could kind of flex whenever, to do something different, something that's not completely normal for what we would do on a regular weekly basis. You ever showed up to work on a Monday and someone's like, oh, hey, how was your weekend? And you just say, good. And they're like, what'd you do? And you can't even remember. And it was only the past 48 hours. Well, that's because we get stuck in this loop of just doing the same thing over and over. And the next thing you know, January turns to February, turns to March, and it's midsummer. And you can only remember like maybe 1 to 3 like cool things that you did. Well, by doing these little mini adventures or taking a trip or whatever, setting aside a day to do something cool, something different, that's going to be stuff that we remember, that we're grateful for at the end of the year, instead of just living week after week after week, repeating and doing the same stuff. So it's on our calendar and we're going to do it. All right, so we've got our calendar laid out personally, and then we put gym stuff on top of that because at Rampage, we do a lot of events throughout the year. In previous years, we've just let those events be like our things. Like, oh yeah, we got a cool gym event coming up. So we wouldn't go do as many things on our own as a couple or as a family because we would just kind of use those gym events as that. Well, we want to do more. I don't want 2025 to be the same as 24, 23. So this calendar is going to help with that. these will be transposed to a desktop, or sorry, like a desk paper calendar, and then also in my phone. All right, here we go. Let's get into what this list looks like. 2025, for fun and fitness, just all kind of meshed together. I want to work out 5 to 6 days per week. Not a problem. I've been doing that for 2 decades. I want to do an endurance bike race event sometime in March or April. I've got a few on the calendar I'm looking at. And what I mean by that is 65 plus miles. So we're talking a 5, 6, 7, 8 hour event. I want to learn to do a backflip. That'd be cool. I'm 37. I'm semi-athletic. But I have no idea how to do a backflip, so I want to learn how to do that. Molly implemented this 10,000 steps per day challenge in December, which I participated in. So for 25 days in a row, I got at least 10,000 steps a day. Keeping that going is very difficult because you have to be super intentional about like walking a lot. So here's what I'm going to try to do this year going forward. If it's a rest day, which is only 1 or 2 days a week, I'm going to make sure I got 10,000 steps. If it's a day where I did mostly strength training only, I'm going to make sure I got 8,000 steps. And if it's a day where I did some other type of cardio, biking, running, whatever, I'm going to make sure I still get 7,000 steps. So that's my step goal. I want to mountain bike 12 times this year. There have been years that have went by that I've only got on my bike like a couple of times. So I figure if we got 6 good months of riding weather in Tennessee, I can go twice a month. I can get 12 mountain bike rides in this year. One of those, already put it on the calendar, even though it's not planned, it's up there, is go on a overnight mountain biking trip. Not mountain biking through the night, but go on a camping trip, mountain bike the couple of days we're there. I want to target practice. So go shooting guns 10 times this year. Doesn't matter when, just throughout the year, 10 times. I want to take the course to get my concealed carry permit just to have it. It's good to have, and I don't. I want to do another shooting course. I've taken a handful of different shooting courses in the past. Would like to do another one this year. I would also like to take a survival kind of medical emergency type course, just so you know how to use all of this stuff that would be in a med kit in the event something happens. I want to go on a boat twice. I don't own a boat. I have no intentions of owning a boat, but I want to go out on the water on a boat twice. I prefer lakes over rivers, but whatever. If you got a boat, I want to go on it. I want to go camping twice. One of those preferably be an overlanding trip, meaning you get in a car and you drive far enough into the woods that it's not a campsite, campground, whatever, and then you just camp. Want to take all 6 of our mini adventures that are on the calendar, so make sure we don't miss those once every 8 weeks, doing something with Molly and Charlie as a family that we normally wouldn't do. I want to go out west twice. We always go out west in October, probably thinking Wyoming, maybe Colorado. I've been to Colorado. Neither of us have been to Wyoming. And then next month, we're actually going out west to Washington for a friend's baby shower, so that kind of counts. And then with some of those mini adventures, I want to travel more to see some of our friends that used to live in Middle Tennessee that now have moved that we only keep up with through Instagram. So that's my list of things I want to do this year that qualify as fun or fitness. I just put this new battery in. It's only at 81%, but it's been charging all day. Weird. All right, so next one, family. So this is kind of more personal related. That doesn't fall into these other categories, and in no particular order, much like the last category. So I want to let Charlie explore more. Molly and I don't want to be these helicopter parents where we're like trying to keep her in this little bubble. We want to let her explore and kind of learn how to be a baby, be a kid on her own, which super excited to be a dad. This is an amazing time. Do more fun stuff with Molly. So we're together a lot. We're together at our workplace. We're together at home, but we're not doing a lot of things outside of like the gym. So that's a lot of what this calendar is about, doing more stuff together. I want to buy some land. So I was looking into that big time recently, but then something else came about that's occupying all my time, more on the business category on that. So buy some land, a couple acres would be ideal to eventually build a house on. And so we can live in that house for a few years in Tennessee, because long term, we're going out west. All right, investment goals. I want to grow all my personal investments by 25% more than I did in 2024. Yeah, there's that. Cool. Be 100% present for Charlie. So by putting everything into categories on my calendar, listing out, like prioritizing what I'm doing when it's time to be home to be a dad, I want to be that. I don't want to be on my phone doing lead nurture and emails and scheduling. So being present for Charlie. I want to be more thoughtful. I'm always so impressed when people send like little gifts or thank yous or do something for other people that just makes you say like, wow, that was really kind of you, right? And although I say thanks and I verbalize my appreciation often, or at least I think I do, I want to do more for the people that I love and care about that help me out in any way or are just good people and say, thank you, I appreciate you. And I'm going to start that by writing some handwritten thank you cards to people that were a big part of my life in 2024. So I'm going to get on that probably next week. And then I also need to make a decision on the van. The van made $13,000 last year. And then if I remove my expenses for it, I profited about $5,000, which is amazing. But because of the nature of the trips that people are renting the van for, it is racking up a ton of miles to the point where I won't be able to sell it for the amount I owe for it. And that's called being like upside down or underwater. So yeah, it's making me money, but I got to figure out like, okay, what is the best exit on this? So I don't know. I got to sit down, crunch some numbers and figure out what I want to do with that. All right, so that kind of wraps up as far as right now, the family and personal side of things. All right, we're gonna show you something fun. Let's go next door. So one last category to cover, and that is the business, but I feel it's only appropriate to do that in the place that's gonna be taking up all of the time, and that is Gym 2. Here we go. All right, dark in here. All right, so this is exciting, right? Sorry, it's super echoey. This is a completely empty building. There's nothing here. And no, sorry, I know you probably thought you were gonna get a whole tour of this place, but not yet. That will be later to come. So now that I don't have my whiteboard cheat sheet right behind the camera, I'm just gonna reference my phone for this last category. And something I wanted to mention on the other parts, the fun, the fitness, the family is, by saying these things out loud, by putting them publicly on YouTube, by letting people know, that is me holding myself accountable to having fun. We oftentimes want accountability for things that like we need to do, like hold yourself accountable to eat better or to get to bed at time or to not spend so much time on your phone. But what about holding yourself accountable to having fun? So that's kind of what I want to do with that first part of the list. Now, as far as business goes, this year, build Gym 2 and make it a success. Hopefully by halfway through the year, this thing is running well enough where it's no longer eating up more of my time. I want to graduate 2 of our current interns into becoming coaches so they can just kind of be staff members and do their thing. I want to hire 1 more coach at some point in time this year, probably a part-time group class coach. We'll see how that goes. I want to become more of a boss and a mentor, because sometimes I feel like I'm just kind of like riding alongside my staff, and I want to lead them and mentor them so they can be better versions of themselves and have kind of someone to assist with that, if you will. I need to delegate more, okay? So I still do a lot of things on my own because I'm the one that knows how to do it, but I want to get better at delegating more. And therefore do less of things that it doesn't require me to be the person to do it. It doesn't require some specific skill set. All it requires is a system that someone can follow and do. So delegate more so I'm doing less of things that don't really require me to be the person to get them done. I want to triple our semi-private training revenue. So the amount that we've been doing monthly, I want to triple that. That's what this building right here is going to really help with. I want to remove myself as well as Molly from the coaching schedule, meaning when our coach writes out the coaching schedule for the week, we're not needed on it. Now, that doesn't mean we won't still step up and help when needed, but on a weekly basis, it's not necessary for us to be involved in that. That's just going to allow me to grow the business more, because going out and coaching, it kind of messes up the flow of my work for the day. Solve our content creation problem. So we do so much cool stuff at Rampage. What the people, the members are doing and accomplishing, the hard work, the PRs, just the pure effort that people are putting in daily, the smiles, high fives, the struggles. We're not showing that to the world. And frankly, if we can do better at like making videos and stories and posts, like our gym will be flooded with folks, because this is not your typical 24-hour big box gym. Like the stuff that's happening here is really cool. So solve the content creation problem. That probably requires either me freeing up time to do more on my own or hiring someone to be that person. I want to make a weekly video recap of the updates on Gym 2, this place. So at the end of the week, every week, I want to shoot a small video, put it here on YouTube so everyone can kind of follow along and see what's going on in here, from painting the walls to mounting a pull-up bar, all of that stuff. Let's see. Our Christmas Throwdown, huge event that we do every year in December. I want to increase its revenue by 25%. It's kind of been just stalled the past few years. Super fun event. It's amazing, but it's been almost the same thing every year. So this year, increase that by 25%. Again, having use of this building will help because we can get more sponsors and stuff in that building, because we'll have a warm-up area in here to kind of get the athletes out of that space a little. And then also kind of solve our apparel problem. Every year I want to do hats, I want to do beanies, I want to do jackets and all this stuff. And then with everything else I have going on, since those aren't necessary things, I just kind of write it off. And the next thing you know, this happens all the time. We're getting hoodies in at the end of March when the weather's back up in the 60s already. So I want to solve that. And that's probably going to require, again, me delegating and getting someone else in that position to get all of that stuff designed and ordered on a specific timeline. All right, guys. So that is a wrap. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it at least inspired you to make 1 or 2 goals or plans for the year. Stay tuned if you want to see more updates on Gym 2. Thanks for watching.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet.